Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Supply Chain Management, Chapter 11, Part 2. Learning objectives are: explain the controllable elements in logistics system, explain the logistics trade-offs, explain the role of relationships in supply chain management, explain the effects of just-in-time approach, and explain the transportation methods. Introduction. Ensuring that the goods arrive at the customer premises at the right time, in the right quantities, and at the right price is at the heart of marketing. In the past, simply ensuring that the delivery truck was reliable and the driver knew where to go was sufficient. But in recent years, a much wider ranging view has been taken of the process of taking raw material and converting them to customer satisfaction. Particularly in the global context, this process involves many different companies, often in the different countries, each with their own needs. Managing this complex chain of supply efficiently is one of the ways firms can improve their profit margins and competitive position. Controllable elements in logistics system. The controllable elements in logistics system are customer service, order processing, logistics communication, transportation, warehousing, inventory control, packaging, materials handling, production planning, plant and warehouse location. I will explain these one by one. Controllable elements in logistics system. Let's discuss the first one, customer service. Customer service is the product of all logistic activities that a firm has to decide that what level of service a company has to provide to its customer. It relates to the effectiveness of the system in creating time and place utility. The level of customer service provided by the supplier has a direct impact on total cost, market share, and profitability. That's why customer service is very important to consider. Service effectiveness is the most important factor in third-party logistics supply, with price in second place. Second controllable element in logistics system is order processing. Order processing affects cost and customer service levels because it is the starting point of all logistic activities. The speed and accuracy of order processing clearly affects customer service. This is particularly true in global markets, where errors or delays become multiplied by distance and by time it takes to make corrections. Logistics communication is another controllable element in logistics system. Logistic communication means the way in which information is channeled within the distribution system affects the smooth running of the logistics. For example, a good progress chasing system will allow deliveries to be tracked and therefore customer reassurance will be greater. Transportation is another controllable element in logistics system. The physical movement of goods is often the most significant cost area in logistic process. It involves the most complex decisions concerning carriers and routes and is therefore often most prone to errors and delays. That's why company has to give due consideration to the transportation system. Warehousing is another controllable element in logistics system. Storage space serves as the buffer between the production and consumption. Efficient warehousing reduces transportation cost by ensuring that, for example, containers are shipped full and transport systems are fully utilized. Inventory control is another controllable element in logistics system. Inventory control ensures that the correct mix of products is available for customers and also ensure that stocks are kept at a reasonable level to avoid having too much capital tied up. Packaging is another controllable element on logistics system. The purpose of packaging is primarily to protect the contents from the environment and vice versa. It also serves as a location for some shipping instructions. Example given port of destination, etc. Materials handling, again another controllable element in logistics system which a company can control. Picking stocks to be included in an order is potentially a time consuming and therefore expensive activity. Some warehouses have the capacity to automate the system so that robots select the products and bring them to the point from which they will be shipped. So nowadays companies are using these robots for material handling. Production planning is another controllable element in logistics system. Production planning utilized in conjunction with logistic planning. Production planning ensures that products are available in the right quantities and at the right times. Plant and warehouse location is another controllable element in logistics system. The location of the firm's facilities should be planned so as to minimize delivery times and therefore minimize customer response times, as well as ensure that the cost of buying or renting space are minimized. This will often result in difficult decisions since space near customer is likely to be more expensive than space in, for example, remote rural location. And in Pakistan, industry area is located separately from consumer markets. Logistic trade-off, service and distribution cost, these are the two factors between which a company has to do trade-off. In practice, two main variables must be traded off against each other, is shown in figure 11.1, the distribution cost and service level. The first is the total distribution cost, which would generally be regarded as something which should be kept to a minimum. The second variable is the level of logistics service given to customer. As service improves, cost will rise, and there is likely to be a diminishing return for extra expenditure. In other words, there is a point at which further expenditure is unlikely to make a material improvement in service level. So a company has to trade off between the distribution cost and service level. A company has to decide a level for the service. Establishing and maintaining relationships. Relationships exist not only between suppliers and purchasers, but also across several other categories of partner. From a marketer's point of view, the most important set of relationship here will be the buyer relationships, but this does not mean that the other relationships can safely be ignored. In terms of supply chain management, these relationships are important as they ensure that the firm's place is the supply chain and its ability to contribute effectively are assured. So company has to establish and maintain relationship between supplier partnerships, letter partnerships, buyer partnerships. Factors involving the channel. A company has to work the relationships among all its partners. So for these welding, a company has to develop information system which provide realistic sales forecast, and company can standardize packaging and handling systems, for example by using palletization or containerization. Company can provide services, example warehousing or data handling services which improve efficiency for everyone, usually provided by the channel leader. So pool shipments to avoid empty truck problems. So with these factors, a company can work the channel. Effects of just-in-time. The attempt by some firms to introduce just-in-time purchasing, in which the purchasing firms does not hold stocks but instead shifts the responsibility for maintaining inventories onto the suppliers, does not accord with the system approach to logistics, since it does not take account of the whole supply chain. So the activities which are being performed in just-in-time approach are transportation, field warehousing, field inventory control, protective packaging, materials handling, order processing. And let's discuss what can be the effects, what can be the impacts or effects of these activities in just-in-time. Let's talk about first transportation. Because the number of shipment increases, the quantity ordered each time decreases. This can be the effect. The shipments also need to meet the exact demands of the customer and are non-negotiable, so the supplier must be flexible. In one study, 49% of companies using just-in-time said that the inability of suppliers to deliver to their specification was a problem. Field warehousing activity and what can be these effects of just-in-time. Shipping over long distances may not be feasible because of the inherent unreliability of transportation. So smaller, more numerous warehouses will be needed. In addition, the use of third-party warehousing may be unsuitable because the customer will require absolute reliability. The supplier may not feel that a third party can be trusted sufficiently. Field inventory control activity can also affect just-in-time approach. Inventory levels of products may need to be increased as customers will be totally unable to tolerate stockouts under any circumstances. Because of the need for 100% control of inventory, the producer may need to take over all the distribution functions. Protective packaging can affect just-in-time approach. Packaging may be changed or even eliminated in some cases because the goods will be used immediately in production. This is a rare case where just-in-time might benefit the vendor. Material handling can also affect just-in-time approach. There may be few changes here, but because quantities delivered are much smaller, it may not be feasible to use. For example, containerization is a way of reducing handling. Order processing can also affect just-in-time approach. The simplest way of dealing with this is electronically. The situation will inevitably become more complex as more frequent deliveries at clearly specified times become necessary. Transportation methods. In supply chain management, a company can use transportation methods, has the choices of transportation methods of sea freight, air freight, road transport, rail transport. All these transportation methods are being used by the companies. But choosing a transportation method means a company has to make a trade-off decisions. Because all these methods, when we look into these methods, so company has to consider the cost, speed of delivery, ability of the mode to protect goods, accessibility, reliability. So definitely all these methods have some advantages and disadvantages. A company has to choose a transportation methods considering the cost, speed of delivery, ability of the mode of product goods, accessibility, and reliability. Only then a company can make a good decision about the transportation methods. Summary. In supply chain management chapter, we have discussed the logistics. We have described that the logistics takes holistic view. So main trade-off in logistics are cost and service level. Just-in-time purchasing may be counterproductive unless the supply chain is well run. Air freight can be cheaper than surface freight when all costs are considered. Relationships exist across other categories than simply buyer and seller. Balancing organizational and personal need is crucial in supply chain management. Crucial elements in the integrating the supply chain are information system, packaging and handling, effective services, and pooling of shipments. Accurate sale estimates are the key to successful supply chain management. Thank you. That's all for supply chain management part 2. Thank you.